Including train rides.
Morgan. Good afternoon, Karen.
Hi there. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, hey, thank you for being with us. I do appreciate it. Now, Karen, I know that you help educate folks about addiction, mental health conditions, and from what I understand, you use a program. It's called the Balm Family Recovery Program. If you will, Karen, tell me a little bit about yourself and exactly what you do.
Okay. Well, I have been treating addiction for about 30 years now as a therapist, and I have worked with a multitude of people, and what I notice is that the family really doesn't get the attention and the education and coaching that they need to really drive successful outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
So we really need to focus on the family more. I mean, this is obviously a condition that impacts everyone, so not just the person that has the addiction.
Right. Now, the Balm Family Recovery Program, what exactly is that?
Well, BALM is an acronym that stands for Be a Loving Mirror. So it's not about the tough love approach. It's about really understanding the illness of addiction and the mental health conditions that often co-occur, and really helping the family understand that so that they can be part of the solution, because they're in a unique position to be able to truly help the person that's closest to them recover from that condition.
And I know, Karen, too, that when you have a family member who has an addiction, it does affect the whole family.
It absolutely does, and it affects people in ways that they may not even be aware of. So I educate them about that as well, and I educate them about ways to really work on themselves. So this is about the family member, not the person with addiction, because they can get well regardless if the one that's addicted does or not.
Okay, that sounds promising. What caused you to get into this type of work, Karen?
Well, like I said, I've been doing it for about 30 years, and I'm actually a person in long-term recovery myself.
Okay.
And I watched how it impacted my family, and then I've had other family members that are addicted as well. And I've seen it from both sides, and I really wanted to do something about it. And I want to contribute to the solution and not just the problem.
So, folks out there listening right now, and they may think that they've got an issue with someone in their family with addiction. What are some of the signs that people, because, sometimes I guess the closest ones to the person are the last ones to know, and that may be just a denial thing. But what are some signs that family members can look for if they are suspecting they have a member of the family that's abusing drugs or alcohol or whatever it is?
Well, a lot of times the family does recognize what's happening, and they are very much in denial.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fear there. Families tend to be the ones to enable the behavior to continue, mostly because they don't understand and they think they're helping, but really they're not. And they need to hold their loved one accountable. And so types of things that you see are, they're losing jobs, or they're late a lot, or they shirk their responsibilities. They don't show up at time. Even when it comes to a family gathering, you may notice a weight loss. You may notice them nodding out. You may notice them sleeping more than usual. You may see a change, really severe changes in mood. So really, mood swings and things of that nature. They need money a lot, and you may find some things missing in your home, and so. A lot of times we don't want to admit that my loved one is probably stealing from me. So ideally, you get with somebody who can help you through those things, and then that's what I do. I coach people. I work with them to help them develop those conversations that are critical and that are more effective than either yelling, screaming, or trying to ignore it. There's definitely variation.
No, there's no doubt about that. And I've seen it. I mean, we've all had it. That's the thing in the world we live in today. Just about every family has been touched by this. Maybe extended family or something like that. But it's a problem that it doesn't matter how much or how little money you have. It can affect anybody.
Absolutely.
What are you seeing right now as far as the addictions? What are people addicted to right now?
Well, alcohol, I don't think gets enough press because we are focused on the opioid epidemic, and we should be. I mean, it went from 72,000 people that died from overdose to over 90,000 just in this past year. That's huge, and we need to continue to stay focused. But alcoholism kills more people than opioid addiction, and always has. It's certainly readily available, and, people do tend to overdo it. And I don't think a lot of people understand what a standard drink looks like and what kind of risk factors are involved, whether you're a man or a woman, and how many drinks you're having over what period of time. All of that plays into it, and I don't think a lot of people recognize that.
I think you're right about that, Karen. Karen Morgan joins us here on the program this afternoon. We're talking about addiction and some mental health conditions. And I know we talk about addictions, but let's turn over to the mental health issues now, because I think that's something that's kind of come to the forefront as of late. I know we had the Olympian that, she checked out because she was saying, I've got some mental stuff going on there. And I know a lot of people have mental issues that are not addicted to anything, right?
That's exactly right. It tends, usually people that become addicted are usually, not always, but they are usually self-medicating. And now this mental health issue has also become a substance abuse issue, and now you have a couple of things going on. But yes, there's a lot of people that strictly have a mental health condition and see a lot of depression and anxiety. And people are looking for ways to mitigate that. And, sometimes they will use substances to do that. Other times there are behaviors that people engage in that are addictive in nature. So it's not just the substances, it's also the behavior.
The behavior.
But as far as so, obviously there's, you've probably heard about sex addiction and gambling addiction. So a lot of times these behaviors activate the same areas of the brain that substances do. And so they're very much addictive in nature.
Right.
And so, we tend to focus on, behaviors, whether it's because somebody is engaging in something that's negative, but also when they are using substances, we tend to focus on those behaviors and think if they could just stop using the substances, everything's going to be fine. If they're addicted, that's just a bare bones beginning. They really need treatment, and they need access to treatment, and the family does as well. So we want to make sure that the family recovers alongside the person with the addiction.
How does your process work? Do people, they come to you and say, look, I got this family member I think that, we think's addicted or battling an addiction. How does that process get the ball rolling?
Well, generally people just call me, but I do have a web address, and I do have a Psychology Today page, and I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. But generally it's my phone, and I certainly don't mind giving that number. But, generally people reach out to me and tell me, yes, just like you said, I have a loved one, whether it's a child, an adult child, or a spouse, or, a friend, a family member, that I believe is addicted, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to help them. And so, certainly I work with them where that's concerned. And if the person needs treatment, then I work with them to help get that person into treatment. A lot of times they don't want to go to treatment,
right.
But I help them, with an intervention if necessary, but helping them build that leverage that it's going to take to get that person into treatment, and then working with the family to keep them there for long enough for them to really get the help that they need.
Yeah, I know you talked to that. I was just going to ask you about that. What if the person doesn't want to cooperate? I mean, you will participate and help with an intervention.
Yes, I will.
All right. What is the name? What's the name of your company?
It's Addiction Recovery Support Services, and that's also the web address. So just add a .com on the end of that, and that'll take you directly to my website. That also has my phone number and my email address. But my phone number is 901-626-9271, and I'm more than happy to help anybody that I possibly can.
So that's addictionsupportservices.com.
Right.
And in 901
Addiction Recovery Support Services.
Ah, my bad. I didn't write it right. Addiction Recovery Support Services. Yes. All right. addictionrecoverysupportservices.com.
That's it.
All right. Got it. 901-626-9271. 9271. I know, Karen, do you do in-person visits or do you do virtual visits as well?
It's all virtual.
All virtual.
I want to
Okay.
definitely, it's about meeting people where they are. So let's connect virtually. And, some people don't like the Zoom, and that's fine. We can do it over the phone.
Okay.
And there are people that want to do it in person. And, hey, I can work that out, too.
All right. Sounds great. Addiction Recovery Support Services. It's Karen Morgan, and the number 901-626-9271. Karen, anything we missed that some of our listeners out there might need to know about all this?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. Just know that there's no shame involved. Let's get rid of the stigma so that more people can get the help that they need.
Sounds fantastic. Karen Morgan, thank you very much, Karen, for joining us.
Thank you, Brad. You take care.
Thanks. Always good to hear about help for people